Hello, football fans, and welcome to Madden 24. Now, this game just came out today for the overall public. You could buy the deluxe edition and get 3 days early access, but really, I wasn't willing to pay the extra money for 3 days early access, and the other features of it weren't something that really interested me. So what we're doing here is we're going to go ahead and start the franchise mode. I haven't really noticed a story mode. I do know you can take a player through uh, a set and such, but I don't see it as a story mode. I will try to play that off camera perhaps a little bit and see if I'm wrong on that. If so, I may start a series on that story mode as well. But the main one here, as we did with the last season, is going to be the franchise mode, where I'm going to be the owner of the Carolina Panthers. Now, I'm up in the air right now still as to whether or not I wish to relocate the team. I've heard there's actually new relocation spots for Madden 24, so that's sort of interesting. But I already had the relocation spot I would move the team to, if anything, which would be Orlando, Florida. But I'm not sure I want to do that. I still sort of like the idea of being the Carolina Panthers. I may look at building a new stadium where we are. Those are things I'll sort of look at over the next couple of weeks, perhaps, and see how that goes. Um, I am going to play this first game here because the preseason already started and the Panthers already had their first game. So that's what's going to be in this video. Then I also am going to get out the video for Sunday. I'm not going to have any narration on that video because I'm going to cover basically everything in this video that I normally would cover on my standard Sunday videos. So that one will be the preseason game for this week, which is against the Giants. This particular video, I'm going to go ahead and have the game against the Jets, which is our first preseason game. Big reason I wanted to go ahead and get this game is because of the fact that so many changes have been made to the Carolina Panthers. We've got a new head coach. We have a new starting quarterback in the first overall draft pick with Bryce Young. With the actual preseason game against the Jets, the game did not go well for the Panthers at all. But I did see some positives out of it. First of all, I thought that our quarterback did a good job with what he had available to him. He threw some fairly good passes, he read the defense fairly well. The biggest issue I see for him in this team right now is the offensive line. The offensive line has got to get better, otherwise, this is going to be a very long year. And personally, I wouldn't even put Young out there because he doesn't need to get beaten up every week because of the fact that my line can't seem to block for him right now. That's pretty pathetic and really needs to be changed on the team. Other than that, I think the wide receivers need to do a better job than they did in week one. But again, it's the preseason. Those kind of things could be worked out. So I'm not too concerned about that. It was the first week of the preseason, so the starters only played a very short time. But as I said, the offensive line was a huge issue. On top of that, Coral, as the backup quarterback, did not do well at all. His completion numbers were good, but the fumbles and such were not. So really, he's got to do better. We're going to see how I do here versus the Jets. Now, one thing I am going to do this season that was very different than last season, if you watched last season, you will know that I was very much run heavy with the I formation style running and much more of a power running game. This season, because I have Bryce Young and such, and we've got a new coach, I'm going to probably do a lot more spread formation, option style offense. So I'm going to try to change that up. That's going to be very new for me as well, not just something for the team. So we'll have to see how that goes. But here we are on this screen. Before we get into any of the features here, I did want to give a few thoughts I have on the new Madden game. First of all, I found it odd that the game launched sort of later in the day today instead of at the beginning of the day like most games do on Steam. That was a bit odd. Secondly, I thought the price on it is a bit high. I don't think they should be charging the price that they are. I think it should be a bit less expensive. But that's just me. On top of that, then, I've had a few issues with the game already. One was that I had a challenging time finding where the songs in the game are. Originally, I turned out the sound overall for the songs, but I was worried that would sort of take away from some of the sound in the stadium, and I did not want to do that. I know there's some audio that will play that way, and I want that to play. But I had to find the button that actually got me to the actual audio, the listing of all the songs, and turn them off. That took me probably a good 10 minutes because it was not under the settings feature. You actually had to click a different button on the controller in order to get to it. Uh, the other problem that I had in the game, which I felt was much bigger of an issue, is evidently EA has now launched something they're calling EA Anti-Cheat, which when I originally tried to launch the game, it crashed repeatedly on me. And the reason for it is you actually have to go into your computer's software and change the BIOS to do a secure boot in order to play this game. Now, I have a significant problem with that. I'm playing the game here to play on my own. I'm not playing online, anything like that. I could understand it almost if they wanted that to avoid cheating online. But I just want this game to be able to play on my own in the comfort of my living room by myself. I should not have to change my BIOS on my computer to play a game, period, let alone a single player game the way that I'm going to be playing this. So I thought that was rather ridiculous in the way that they have that set up. I think that they definitely need to work on their anti-cheat. I mean, I have other games, for example, Dead by Daylight, which has an anti-cheat feature to it, but that one has never made me change any of the BIOS in my computer in order for it to run properly. So I will say that was one thing that I really had a problem with here. I think that's an issue they need to address in their game because, again, we're talking about a very expensive game in comparison to most games on the market. And the fact that it has an issue like that before you can even start it, I had to go online in order to figure out how to get around the issue and find out that I had to change my BIOS. And then I had to figure out how it was that I was able to get into my BIOS in order to change them. It was probably a good half hour that I spent on all of that, which again, when it's a video game that we're talking about here, it shouldn't be that way. I think that's a real issue in the game and something they really need to address. So now that I have my complaining out of the way, let's go ahead and first take a look at the roster, and then we also do have this training camp thing here. Uh, Sort of an interesting thing. I did have the ability on the franchise mode here where I did make a few adjustments. I'm not going to worry about re-signing free agents and stuff like that. I've got that set to auto, so that's a good thing as far as I'm concerned. Takes a little bit off the plate, and I'm able to focus on the game more, which is what I want to do. But let's go ahead and look at the depth chart here because my team has changed an enormous amount from last year. And I need to be accustomed with these players. So we've got Bryce Young, #1 overall draft pick. Very excited to have him here on my team. And he is going to be my starter, at least from what it looked like in the first preseason game. We then have Andy Dalton, who I think is a great player. I love the fact that the player tags here have him as mentor. I think he will be a great mentor for Bryce Young, and I'm glad to have him on the team. Then we have Matt Corral, who's been with the team here, but really, as I said, had a very poor showing in his preseason there against the Jets. So let's see how he does. All right, we have Miles Sanders, who was a guy from Penn State. He is a new addition to our team. I don't know a lot about him, so I will try to find that out over the next couple of weeks. As I said, the video that will release on Sunday, which is the second preseason game, I'm not going to have any of this audio to the beginning of it because I just am going to record it today as I normally would the videos on Sunday. So you're getting all the audio with this first video. Chuba Hubbard has been with the team for a couple years now. He's from Oklahoma State. A little bit more of a power runner. I did like him, so we'll see how he does for the team. Raheem Blackshear out of Virginia Tech. Don't know a lot about him either. And Spencer Brown out of UAB. So a lot of new faces in the running game. That's a very interesting thing to me. I mean, Miles Sanders has been around evidently for 4 years here. I just haven't heard much about him. So I'm curious to see how he does, where he came from here in the NFL, and how he was over on that team. As I said, I will try to do that research before the third preseason game of the year so I can give you some of my opinion on him in that respect. Then we've got Giovanni Ricci from Western Michigan. I used him quite a bit last year. He was really good for my team. I'm glad to have him on my team. He's a great blocking fullback, I feel. Wide receivers wise, this is a pick that I was really happy with. We've got Adam Thielen here. He's been over on Minnesota. I thought he was a great possession receiver over at Minnesota, particularly with the fact that we did lose our top receivers during the offseason. I'm glad that we picked him up. DJ Chark from LSU. I don't know a lot about him, but I will again see how he does. Laviska Shenault Jr. out of Colorado. Terrence Marshall Jr. out of LSU. Damiere Byrd from South Carolina. And then Jonathan Mingo. This is another one that I think probably I'm going to actually move him up in the order here and probably have him in the top 2 here during the season. I'm torn by it because I sort of want to move him up in the roster, but at the same time, I do want to be realistic to how the roster actually is playing out. So I will see how he did in the preseason, see how they use him during the preseason stuff. But personally, I would really like to get Jonathan Mingo out on the field. I think he is a fantastic pickup for our team, and I'd love to have him on the opposite side of Adam Thielen, so we have the two great wide receivers across from each other, both the mentor type and the young kid. Tight end here, we've actually picked up a new face in Hayden Hurst. I'm not very familiar with him, but again, I will try to get some information to see how he's going to do for the team. Then we have Ian Thomas, who is returning for us. I thought he was a really good possession tight end, this last year. So curious to see how he'll do in the backup role behind Hayden Hurst. Evidently, this guy's quite good because he's got an 80 ranking, so that's a good thing for us. Then we have Tommy Tremble here out of Notre Dame. So we'll see how this all works. As I said, I'm going to be using the playbook that the team is using overall. So going to try to be much closer to how the actual team plays on the field. We'll see how that goes overall. Here starts our problems. Though our left tackle in Ikawanu actually is pretty good from what I hear. So hopefully he'll be decent. The right tackle was where we had some trouble. Brady Christensen's been here for a cup of coffee at least. He should be better than we were really seeing in that first game. Bradley Bozeman has definitely had the experience. He should be decent. Chandler Zavala is a rookie, so this is where our problems start, in my opinion. It's not that he's bad, it's just that he's inexperienced. We do have Deontay Brown here as well, but I'm hoping that Zavala, having had a rocky start, will hopefully now start picking it up and be better in this next game. Taylor Morton, really, I felt like the right tackle position was one of our weakest positions, so this is where we definitely need to pick it up even more. His ranking's very high, but he did not show it in that first game, in my opinion. So then, in the left end position, we now have Shai Tuttle here. Then we have Derek Brown on the right end. Then Henry Anderson and John Penisini, if I could speak correctly. And then they have moved Brian Burns to the left outside linebacker position for this season as far as on the roster. He still does, I think, go down into a three-point stance at points in time, but he is definitely one of the key features to my defense overall. And I will definitely be still trying to blitz from his position any chance that I get. Shaq Thompson, definitely a great player on my team. Happy to have him there. Frankie Luvu, again, was, same as Gross Matos here, was listed as an end in the past, I believe. Definitely I know Gross Matos was, and now is listed as a linebacker. So it's sort of interesting that we have that position change there. And again, they have this set up. I'm going to see how the actual depth chart looks, probably starting after the preseason to see where we're going to go with things. But this is the way they have them set up right now. We'll see how it goes as the season gets started here. Cornerback, J.C. Horn, Dante Jackson, C.J. Henderson. Really, top three are very good as far as I'm concerned. I'm very happy to have them on my team. I like the corners there. Then we've got Jeremy Chin. I think he does a great job. And then we have Xavier Woods, who I think is a good backup on the safety position. We have Von Bell. Don't know a lot about him, so hopefully he will be a solid performer for us as well. Then we've got Pinheiro now as our kicker, and then we still have Hecker as our punter. So, since we did lose McCaffrey, we've had to change up who our return people are. We've got Marquez Stevenson as our returner for right now, in both the punt and kick returns. So as I said, I'm not very familiar with a lot of these names. We will have to see how they do. I'm going with that hopefully the game actually has the depth chart set up properly, and that these are the players that are supposed to be in those positions. Now, with all of that being said, let's see how this training camp goes, and we'll do that before we play the preseason game. Also, well, before we do any of that, we have the stadium here. Could rebuild the stadium. This is one I've got to think about some. And I don't believe I have to change it in the first preseason week here. So I think I'm going to hold off on it and then make my decision. I'm leaning towards I don't want to move the team because I want to sort of keep this. I do not plan on buying Madden 25 unless there is some hugely dramatic change to either my team, the Carolina Panthers, or to the game itself. Otherwise, I just don't see this investment year after year. The only reason I did it this year is because of the enormous amount of change that has occurred on my team. Otherwise, I really wouldn't. So with that being said, I'm thinking about upgrading the stadium. I would love to go with a dome, something really nice like that. But I very well might leave it in Carolina. So we'll have to see on that. I'm going to have to think on that. And I probably won't make that decision this particular week. We'll probably do that next week or the week after. Let's see about upgrading the players. Alright, so we've got skill points for both Raheem Blackshear and for Shi Smith here. So let's go ahead and deal with these points. Alright, so might as well do the thing that fits the scheme. As I said, I'm trying to make this team the way that the team should be played, how they are going to play under our new head coach. So we will go with the scheme fit. And for Raheem Blackshear, same thing, he's going to be elusive. Alright. As I said, we'll go to the training camp here, see what this is about, because we did not have this previously. Alright, so this just looks like some of the standard stuff here. Let's try one, see how it goes, and then we'll decide from there if I want to do the other ones or not. Let's go target passing. We'll do Bryce Young. First chance to use Young here, so let's get him out on the field, see how he does. Position your quarterback in time passes to destroy as many targets as possible. You'll be awarded more points for better accuracy as well as for hitting deeper targets. Successfully destroying targets will increase your score multiplier, and failing to do so will reset it.
Ready, go!
Alright.
Let's go!
I sort of see how this works.
Here we go! Here we go! Set! Ready! Ready!
Alright. It's interesting, a little bit odd. Sort of a hard mechanic to use,
Set, hut.
in all honesty, but sort of fun at the same time.
Set, ready. Hut, hut. On the set. Set, go.
Trying to hit those targets is a challenge, to say the least.
Ready, break. Hut, hut.
Alright. Try it again one time. We'll see how it goes. Not the easiest thing in the world.
Ready, ready. Ready. Set.
Yeah, that's definitely a challenge.
Hut, go.
Alright, we got that one.
Ready.
Getting the hang of it a little bit.
Ready, go.
Ooh, threw it under him.
Ready, ready. Hut.
So hard with those longer ones.
Here we go. Set. Come on, set. Ready.
Yeah. Nah, I'm just gonna quit that game. So, I'm sure some people will be very good at it and stuff. Not really my thing on that game. We'll try some of the other ones, see how they are. It's just not very realistic to the actual way a game is and such, so we'll see. See if this one's a bit more realistic. Complete passes within the time limit and score as many touchdowns as possible. You'll be awarded bonus points for longer passes, successful skill moves, and celebrating during the play. Completed passes will increase your score multiplier, and incomplete passes will reset it.
Set, hut. On the ready.
Oh, alright. Well, that's an unfortunate one. Alright, let's restart.
Let's go. Set, go.
Alright.
Here we go. Here we go. Hut, hut. Let's go now. Ready, ready. Set,
Oh.
ready, set.
Ooh.
Here we go, set. Hut, go.
Nice. Touchdown.
Ready. Ready. Set, hut. Ready, go. Ready.
Oh,
ready.
that's unfortunate.
Down. Set. Ready up. Ready. Got it. Set, hut.
Ah.
Set.
This is definitely not my strong suit by any means.
Ready, ready. Set, go.
But at least this one's much more believable to how it is. Try it one more time.
Here we go. Hut, hut.
All right.
Double.
Got a nice pass in there.
Ready.
Not a bad start. Another nice
Set.
completion.
Set. Let's go.
Keep moving the ball forward. Nice touchdown.
Here we go. Here we go. Ready. Let's go now. Ready. Go. Okay, ready? Hut. Set, ready. Set. Here we go, set. Ready.
Ah.
Ready. Set, hut.
Yeah, there's just no room to throw it in there.
Hut, hut.
I mean,
Ready.
pretty pleased with my accuracy overall. I don't mind this drill, actually. It's just one that when you get that close to the end zone, really no room to put it. Nice interception there.
Ready.
Unfortunate. And they ran into each other.
Ready, ready, set.
Alright. Good enough. We'll continue that. We'll take those points. Why not? Let's try the rushing attack, because this is where I feel better, is running the football. So, as I said, gonna be different for me this season. Gonna be a learning experience. Evade the defender, score as many touchdowns as possible. Not a problem.
Hut, go.
Alright. That one was easy.
Okay, break. Ready. Ready. Ready, go. Come on, set.
I mean, we're doing some I formation stuff here. Sort of interesting to me.
Let's go. Set.
If they want me running the football, I have no problem with that. As I said, I was going to go with whatever our game plan is and stuff.
On the set. Set, hut.
This guy is quick. Definitely happy with him.
Hut, hut.
Easy touchdown.
Set, ready. Set, go.
Oh, juked him. Nice.
Here we go, set. Hut, hut. Ready, break. Ready, ready.
Oh, that was a bad block by
Ready, set.
my fullback there.
Set.
Got this one, though. Not bad. We were 124 points away only from the gold. I'll take that. I'm not too upset with it at all. Alright. Don't really want to do battles there. Trench battle, the long haul, chase and tackle, field goal accuracy. Try this one. Don't know how my kicker is at all, so let's get used to this a little bit before we get to that first preseason game. Okay, I was looking up at the thing up in the top there. That's my fault. Let's try that again. we are getting it through the uprights. Hey, we hit the destructible thing. That was complete luck, but you know what? I will take it. Ooh, look at that one badly. Alright, we got a silver out of it. I'm happy with that. So that was an interesting and fun one. We'll finish out with the coffin kick here. Just to see how this one is. As I do like that they added these training camp things in. Makes it a little bit more fun. Pretty pleased with my kicking capabilities, I personally think, so. Inner ring there, not too shabby. Inner ring. Still not bad. That I think might be, yep, coffin corner. Perfect. Oh, thought that was gonna be coffin cornered. That one's a bit of a bad kick, but it should get to the inner ring easy enough. Yep. Alright, I'll take those points. Alright, so with that, we're going to go ahead and jump into the preseason game against the Jets. I'm going to leave the team as they are. I'm going to use the plays as they are. And hopefully it'll all sort of fit with the actual plays and team that were in the game against the Jets.
Welcome to week 1 of the NFL preseason, where the rookies of today hope to become the stars of tomorrow. It's the Jets and the Panthers, and it's coming up next on EA Sports.
EA Sports coverage of the NFL takes us to the Carolinas and Bank of America Stadium here in Uptown Charlotte. Today, it's a preseason matchup, as it'll be the New York Jets taking on the Carolina Panthers. Along with Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin, and we finally made it, partner, through the winter, through the spring, now into the summer, and football finally back.
And during that time off, we all cherish our vacation time. But admit it, you're the same as me. When you were working out, when you were doing things, you thought about football, didn't you? And you couldn't wait to be back up here again.
The ball on the tee, we're set for football. And off we go from uptown Charlotte. And no run back here, so they'll bring it out to the 25. Well, the new-look Jets ready to go on offense, and it is the veteran Aaron Rodgers at quarterback.
After years of flirting with the idea, the four-time MVP finally found his way out of Green Bay this offseason, guiding himself to the Jets. We know he's already a Hall of Fame lock, but this is a chance to add one more crowning achievement to his resume.
Right to the air is Rodgers. And that is going to be incomplete as he led him a bit too much.
I know coaches tell us all the time that having a powerful arm isn't the number one thing they look for in a quarterback. But when you're trying to throw inside routes and you need to put some heat on it, it helps to have the big gun. In this case, just a little bit too much.
Following the incomplete pass, here they go again. 2nd and 10 from the 25. Shotgun now for Rodgers. This one complete to Mecole Hardman. 23 yards to pick up there. Charles, a tough task ahead for this defense, trying to slow down Aaron Rodgers. What would you be trying to do?
I would think about selective pressure, Brandon, and what I mean by that is he's going to eat you up if you blitz him too often because he'll read that and go to the man coverage patterns. But every now and then you bring that pressure at him, make him deliver the ball on time. It's when he keeps the ball, maneuvers out of the pocket, and throws deep, that's when you're in big trouble.
And he's going to get a solid gain of 9 before being brought down. 2nd and right at a yard. The success there, Charles, coming on the outside of the field, the ground game. Curious to see if that continues as we progress.
Yeah, we often talk about a variety in play calling and usually between run and pass. But in this case, with strictly the run game, you can be creative there as well. Run it inside, run it outside, keep the defense off balance.
And now a hook up downfield on 2nd down. And a stoppage here. We're going to need to take a moment as a Jet was shaken up on that one. Well, injury's never good, especially here in the preseason. Hopefully nothing serious. They'll take a look at him, and we'll step aside for a moment. So how about this for field position after the big play? Inside the 15 now as they come up on 1st and 10. Into the red zone. It's Rodgers. And the timing a bit off that time as that one falls to the ground.
Boy, you will not see a quarterback of his caliber miss on one like that very often. I mean, there it is, wide open, got the shot, and he misfires.
We talk about, boy, he'll want that one back all the time. He definitely wants that one back. On 2nd down, a run with Hall. And he'll find his way down right around the 12. They do get a yard there, but only a yard. Leaves him with 3rd and 9 looming.
Early down stuff to put this offense in a precarious position. We know that securing the point of attack, especially against the big-bodied guys in the middle of this D, has got to be priority one.
Here comes the 7th play of this opening drive. They've moved it well, but here's 3rd down. Rodgers now to throw. And he's going to be taken down, sacked back around the 18-yard line. Multiple players combined for their team's first sack of the game.
We're talking about how teams are so competitively matched, and you just want to make those plays that give you an advantage. How about right here? The difference between letting them score a touchdown versus holding them to a field goal, that's absolutely huge with the play he just made.
And you know he hated taking the loss there on 3rd down. So it'll remain to be seen how many drives this unit gets in, this being the preseason, but here they start with 3 points.
Yeah, I don't know that we'll actually see them anymore. They got 3 points on the board, 1 drive here in preseason. In this game, baseball caps, NFL approved, of course, for everyone.
And up to about the 26-yard line, just across the 25. So here are the Panthers set to take over for the first time. And Charles will get a look at the much-heralded rookie Bryce Young, the first overall pick from April's draft.
Bryce Young, the quarterback out of Alabama with a Heisman Trophy in his hip pocket, is the new face of Carolina football. 80 touchdowns, just 12 picks in his college career for the Crimson Tide. He may be a little small in terms of size, but potential, massive.
Ready.
One of the Panthers' big offseason acquisitions. Here's Miles Sanders. This will be stopped about 2 yards shy of the marker. 8-yard gain, 2nd and 2.
A nice run here early on. It doesn't take a great play caller to realize you want to establish a guy of his caliber with runs like this early because they'll pay dividends as the game progresses.
From the 34-yard line, here's 2nd down and 2. Now Young. And that is incomplete. A lot of force bearing down on him there. He could not hang on. It's 3rd down. Well, look at the 2023 draft class for the Panthers. And we wondered for over a month what Carolina's strategy was trading up to select first overall. But we got our answer as they got Bryce Young, now the future for Carolina.
Yeah, and I think it's safe to say that they drafted Bryce Young because they figured he could handle the spotlight and being the face of the team. And they also made some great offseason moves at receiver. And added one more guy to the draft, Jonathan Mingo out of Ole Miss, for Young to throw to as a rookie. Continuing to try and make strides to help their young quarterback.
A quick burst there, and he nicely bit off a pretty decent gain.
So from the 39 now, they'll come up on a 1st and 10. Young to throw it. Oh, he was hit as he threw it there, and that one winds up incomplete.
That certainly appeared to be a play call where they were just trying to make 2nd down, 2nd and short. I think they thought the coverage was off a little bit more than it was. Nice job there pressing up on it and forcing the incompletion.
Open here, Adam Thielen. And that's going to be another 1st down as the tackle made at the Jets' 39. A good pickup there at 22.
But one of the ways the quarterbacks keep all the receivers alive in a play, never lock in on any one guy. Make sure you keep your eyes moving, scan the field, and here he finds the open guy for a nice pickup.
Young's throw complete to his receiver, Thielen. And he is out of bounds, but not before he's inside the 30. 12 more yards for him there. It's a 1st down. We got to like what you're seeing from this offense here on the first drive. A nice sustained series to begin the game. It will continue after picking up another 1st there.
Would you say the word methodical comes to mind? I love the execution. I love what they're doing on this drive. They're controlling the ball, controlling the game, controlling the clock.
It won't be a sack, but it's no gain, and it brings up 2nd down.
But one of the things we talked about coming into this was we were never going to question the fight that he's going to have for all 4 quarters of a game. But ideally, you want him fighting for big plays and 1st downs early, not fighting just to get back to the line of scrimmage, as we saw right there.
Now a 2nd down throw for Young. Dancing to his left. And they'll have it in the red zone before he crosses over out of bounds. Nothing open downfield. He keeps it himself for 11 and a 1st down.
Well, we both know there's a lot that went into why they made him their 1st-round pick this year. Part of it was what they saw in college, his playmaking ability when things break down. As soon as he saw he wasn't getting a lane to throw, he pivoted and found an alternate way to the marker.
From the red zone now, Young. Thomas has got it, complete. He's down inside the 10 to the 8, and it comes on a gain of 8. That's a staple of this offense. Drag route to the tight end.
Yeah, he's unable to use his size to break off much more yardage after the catch, but still an effective gain nonetheless.
Ball on the 8, 2nd and 2. Young off the bootleg. And he whips that one incomplete there. After the incompletion, here now, 3rd and 2. They'll try and run for it with Sanders. And the Panthers are going to have 1st and goal coming up as they're able to convert there on 3rd and 2. Give them a gain of 4, able to convert, and that sets up 1st and goal now. Sanders is into the end zone for a Panthers touchdown. And that caps off what was really a balanced opening drive for them, Charles. They work in the rushing game and the aerial attack, and they end it with a touchdown.
Strong in so many ways, wasn't it, partner? Their ability to throw it and run it and accomplish their goal, they've got to like the way that they started this ball game.
Eddie Pinheiro now for the extra point. He's got it. They'll see that opening drive field goal and raise it a touchdown, and that makes it 7-3. After one, 7-3 the score on EA Sports. Second quarter now from Charlotte, and it's the Panthers with the football. Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. And we see James. He will not return it, and they'll bring it out to the 25. Back onto the field come the New York Jets for their second drive. And last time able to get 3. It's not what they wanted. They wanted 6, but they got at least something. They mustered something out of the drive.
They'll take it. I like the way you've described it. Not ideal, but they'll take it. Anything to put some points on the board. But this time on offense, they don't even want to see the field goal kicker trot on the field. They want that ball in the end zone.
Yeah, they'll be going for 6. A first throw for the backup, Wilson. That'll be complete to Alan Lazard. 15 yards is the pickup there, and the drive starting very nicely. First down.
Well, that certainly has to feel good. It's not all the time that the play caller should get all the credit. Sometimes I think in the huddle, the quarterback just says, hey, who's going to make a play for me? I just need something right here. And the end result there, nice first down. Drive keeps moving.
Throwing now, Wilson on first down. Forced down, and he can't find a receiver, and he's brought down. Yetur Gross-Matos getting in there to make the play.
Well, many times when you talk about mobile quarterbacks, you get the sense that they feel like they can get out of any bad situation. They keep moving around and trying to emulate guys like the Scrambler or the Dodger. Instead, they keep losing yardage and digging themselves a hole that they can't get out of.
Some hot water now after that sack. It's 2nd and 21. Wilson. Oh, into a sea of defenders and intercepted. Jeremy Chin picks it up, and his guys are going to get the football at the 37-yard line.
And Brandon, this is a real nice job defensively of getting inside a quarterback's head and figuring out, okay, where's he going with the football? Because you can make an educated guess defensively. Not all the time, but sometimes. And when you're right, you've got a decent chance of coming away with the football.
The Panthers coming back out onto the field for their second drive. And they'll have good field position here following the interception and a chance to build on their lead as they start with a 1st and 10. Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10. They run with a third-year man, Chuba Hubbard, and he'll get it inside the 35.
Give credit to the defense for stringing that play out, and they gave up no cutback angle. You know he was trying to dart through. No place for him to go. A nice job there, only giving up a 3-yard gain.
2nd and 7, operating from the 34. Now Dalton. Short throw hauled in by Trimble. The result, only 4 yards there on the play. And now it's 3rd and 3.
How about the timing on that one? Boy, they were in sync, weren't they? 3-step drop, balls out of his hands, right to the tight end. Nice completion, just like they do it in practice.
On 3rd down, here's a run by Hubbard. And he is going to have the Panthers first down as he'll be marked down a yard or 2 past the marker following a gain of 6.
So it's pretty simple, partner. You pick up a turnover, set you up in excellent field position. The last thing you want to do is go 3 and out in this spot.
Yeah, they would have had to settle for a field goal attempt, but now they keep those touchdown hopes alive. And now whistles here and a flag down. Looked like someone got going a little early.
Ball start, offense.
The offense knew it. They were already starting to walk back as that one is accepted.
Still first down.
A false start backs him up 5. 1st and 15. Andy Dalton. That'll be taken in by Demir Bird. Will go down as a gain of 6, and that's going to bring up 2nd down. Out of the gun, here's the give to Hubbard. And able to get about 3 as he's taken down right at the 20. We'll get a pause here. There appears to be a Panther who is shaken up on that last play. Well, you hate to see this before the regular season even begins. And we'll take a break and come back. More preseason action in a moment. And this offense on 3rd down today, a perfect 3 for 3 as they look to keep that streak going. This will be 3rd and 6. Able to complete this to Chenot. And the Panthers are going to have 1st and goal as they try to finish off this drive with 6 points. Great mix of play calling so far. 3 runs, 3 passes. All 3 passes have been completions. 1st and goal.
I think on defense now, you have to almost take a chance. Rely on your scouting. Pick a play you think they would run here and just load up for it and see what happens.
Brown will take this one in. Touchdown, Carolina. Just power football there down near the goal line. Give it to him. He's able to push his way across.
Yeah, they went heavy there. Sometimes you have those big offensive linemen come and have to report like they're eligible. But all they're doing is getting a good stance, blocking, and getting their runner across the goal line.
Pinheiro now to add the extra point. And this one's right through to make it a 14-3 ball game. So that drives 7 plays in length. And it ends with a 3-yard scoring run. The Carolina kick team is out there ready to go, and they kick this one away. And we see James. He will not return it, and they'll bring it out to the 25. And New York set to take the field. And we'll see if they can bounce back from that last drive. In particular, if they can bounce back at the quarterback position, Charles, after throwing their first interception of the ball game.
Yeah, some guys, you know they're going to want to try and get a big play right away and take control back. Others, they're going to look to hit a couple shorter passes, get a little momentum back that way.
But for the defense, their goal's not changing a bit. They want another pick.
You're exactly right about that. In fact, you got to watch them a little bit because in coverage, they may cut down their gaps a little bit, maybe their splits a little bit in order to try and get to the ball even faster.
So quickly all the way up at the 40-yard line. To throw is Wilson. Oh, and his early struggles continue. Here's another one intercepted. Jeremy Chin picks it off. And the Panthers are in great shape here as they take over at their 46-yard line. So that now 2 consecutive drives that have ended in interceptions. You wonder if he's trying to do a little too much out there.
Oh, I like where you're going with that maybe he's pressing it a little bit, trying to be too fine with his throws, or maybe overestimating his arm. It could be a combination of all of those things. In any event, he's got to get it figured out and in a hurry.
The possession of the football goes over to Carolina. They start near midfield following the interception as they begin 1st and 10. They've got good starting field position as they come up here 1st and 10 at their own 46. Their D gets the INT. Now what can Dalton do? Connection made with Chenault. And a gain of 4 gets him right to the midfield stripe.
Well, if you do read man coverage, Brandon, the drag route's a pretty good one to run against it because you're running away from people on it.
From midfield here, Dalton. Thomas brings it in. And he goes down, but not before getting this inside the 25. A first down there on a pickup of 25. Creeping up on a minute to play in this first half. And he'll get it down inside the 20 to the 18-yard line. Now the Panthers going to use the first of their timeouts as the stoppage will come with a little under a minute to go in this first half. A good run got 7 on first. Here's 2nd and 3. Dalton off play action. And his throw is incomplete.
And I think he was a little surprised to see the ball sitting out there like that. That's a ball he had a chance to come away with, but it winds up an incomplete pass.
So the incomplete pass on the last play, and that leads us to a 3rd and 3. Hands it off out of the gun. The Jets are going to use the first of their timeouts. So as they take it over, we step aside. Eddie Pinheiro on now. From the left hash, this from 34. The kick by Pinheiro is good. And they will stretch the lead now to 17-3. They already had the early lead, and they get the interception, Charles, and now they add 3 more with the field goal.
Yeah, they're in control of how this game is playing out so far. You mentioned the early lead. Now they're expanding on it, getting plays on both sides of the ball. A winning recipe if they can keep this up.
And we see James. He will not return it, and they'll bring it out to the 25. He'll try to shake off the cobwebs from the interception he threw on the previous drive that led to the field goal, as now they're dealing with a little bit bigger of a deficit. 1st and 10. They go back to the air here after the INT on the last drive. And that one off the mark behind him, incomplete.
This defense is going to have to finish the job. There's still a second half that they have to play. But so far, an absolute total effort. They've disrupted the passing game, stressed the pocket for the quarterback. They forced him into errant throws. Everything they're doing has been executed well.
Now the Jets going to use the second of their 3 timeouts. So that means they're down to 1 remaining here as we head toward halftime. From midfield now, here's Wilson. And he'll get it down on the play to the 37. Good coverage downfield led to him taking off, picking up the first down on a 13-yard run.
They asked him to take charge and get them to a spot where they could at least attempt a kick before the half, and he does just that. Didn't trust what he saw downfield, so he took it upon himself to get them into field goal range using his legs. That's coming through with a play they needed in a big spot.
So with 4 seconds to go in the half, here's the field goal unit onto the field. This from 54 yards away. And that is no good. And this will remain a 2-touchdown game.
Yeah, it's been a disappointing first half for him, all things considered. And this can serve as the capper. It's a missed field goal and the weight going, and that's only going to serve to lessen the mood even further.
The final second ticks by, and that's going to do it for the first half of play. So we have reached halftime in our first preseason matchup of the year. As we'll send you down the coast now to Orlando, that's where we find Jonathan Coachman, ready with our EA Sports halftime report. Coach.
Okay, Brandon, thank you very much. Back to you guys in just a minute as we've started the countdown to opening night. Remember, the preseason has shrunk from 4 games down to 3. So just 2 more weeks of preseason action follow this, and then we get it all started on the first Thursday after Labor Day. In our game, most of the starters have made their cameo and departed, but plenty of youngsters out there with a lot to gain or lose as we get you right back out to Brandon Gaudin.
All right, Coach, thank you, and we welcome everyone back for quarter number 3. Probably not likely to see many starters in the second half as we get back at it underway in this preseason opener. Now Raheem Blackshear going to take this one out. And this return will net positive as he gets past the 25 and up to the 27-yard line. And the Panthers going to take over here to start quarter number 3. Dalton and the Panthers now with a 1st and 10 at their own 27. They'll start this drive out on the ground. And he'll take this up near the 35, maybe the 34. 7 yards on the pickup there, and it'll leave him with a 2nd and 3.
Well, no matter how they phrase it, staying on schedule, staying ahead of the sticks, whatever you want to call it, 7 yards on first down, that fits the bill.
So they'll come up after the gain of 7 on a 2nd and 3. Dalton bootlegs out. Throw left side complete. That's Sullivan. First target, first catch, and a first down.
The tight end is certainly a position built to move the chains because they can control space underneath. If they've got good hands, then of course they're a dynamic target. But one other thing is they're right in the sight lines of a quarterback on just about every play. And that makes it easier for the quarterback to pick him out and deliver.
On first down, they'll go to the ground attack. And he maneuvers up the middle for 3, and it's 2nd down. And a stoppage here. We're going to need to take a moment as a Jet was shaken up on that one. Well, injury's never good, especially here in the preseason. Hopefully nothing serious. They'll take a look at him, and we'll step aside for a moment. Ball spotted at the 45. Here's a 2nd and 7. Play fake. Here's Dalton. And a quick throw here. That's complete. And he's able to get this to the 40-yard line before he's out of bounds. Give him 15 there. The Panthers have the first down.
Now we get into the psychology of the whole thing because a lot of teams with a 2-score lead in the 3rd quarter, they almost become defensive with their offense, just playing not to lose. I think with this team, you got to figure at this point, this is a great spot for them to go into attack mode, really try and put the hammer down and finish this one off.
So in Jet territory now. Here's 1st and 10, right at the 40. From the gun, he'll hand this off. And some room to work. And a very determined run there as he'll take this all the way down to the 27. Good effort. Another nice gain, 13 yards that time, and another 1st down. They've got the lead early here in the 3rd quarter, and runs like that are how they establish that lead in the 1st half.
I love the fact that you're using the word lead because they are leading from the front, pounding on the defense right now with the running game, and truly establishing themselves here in the 2nd half.
And he'll go down right on the edge of the red zone, following a pickup of about 7 or 8. Lots of praise on this drive, obviously. I know you're seeing what I'm seeing. Those guys up front, they're getting it done.
Doesn't matter what play is called. They are handling their business at the line of scrimmage and dominating right now on this drive.
And he'll get him inside the 15 down to the 14-yard line. 44 yards now on the ground on just 7 carries.
Looks to me like maybe there's a little attrition setting in with this drive. Because when you see that type of a run, I get the feeling the defense gets a little bit tired.
And that's the last thing they need, especially when they look up at the scoreboard. And he'll take this into the end zone. Touchdown, Carolina. 14 yards. And the Panthers take the opening kickoff of the 3rd quarter and drive right down the field to extend their lead.
That drive that really increased their cushion felt very military to me. Very precise, methodical, that's one of the words you've taught me. And they just got it done.
And slowly but surely now starting to pull away a little bit. Things looking good for them here in the 3rd quarter.
Not only pulling away, but you mentioned that slowly but surely. You also drain clock, too, with a drive like that. So you really give yourself an advantage.
Piñeiro's extra point up and good. And the lead now to 3 touchdowns at 21. And we see James. He will not return it, and they'll bring it out to the 25. So here's the Jets offense now as they get ready for their first possession of the 2nd half. And their halftime hole now even deeper, and they need a big drive here just to answer the first touchdown of the 2nd half scored against them.
They were down at the half. Now, as you mentioned, they're down a little bit bigger, but no time for discouragement. Just got to get back to it, right? Put your shoulder against the boulder and start pushing. And try and get back to where you were to start the half.
Now Michael Carter, who played nearby in college in Chapel Hill. And this will be a gain of 5 as he gets it to the 30. And hold on here, because on that last run, it looks like we have a player who was shaken up. Boy, you hate to see this before the regular season even begins. And we'll take a break and come back. More preseason action in a moment. Ball on the 30. They'll come up with a 2nd and 5. Throwing is Wilson. Pass complete. He's got Lazard on the out route. They picked up 5 yards last time. Now they double it and get 10 here.
A little football 101 there. You just see the receiver try to run down the defender, meaning he goes right at him and really trying to move him a little bit towards the center of the field so he can put his foot in the ground and break to the out, to the sideline, and make a catch.
Throwing on 1st down, but this one winds up to be incomplete.
The coverage keyed in on him since that last completion his way. He earned a little more attention on that route, and that made it a lot tougher to get a clean throw his way.
Now it's Wilson. And this one too low. Maybe a little over-anxious in the pocket there. He just didn't look comfortable on that throw.
No, he didn't, because it wasn't his normal fluid delivery. And I think he might have had it right. Wasn't really confident with what he saw downfield and almost felt like he wanted to pull that one back.
This offense in desperate need of a conversion as they come up on 3rd down. To throw again is Wilson. Flushed out right. And to the 42-yard line here and brought down there. And a stoppage here. We're going to need to take a moment as a Jet was shaken up on that one. Well, injury's never good, especially here in the preseason. Hopefully nothing serious. They'll take a look at him, and we'll step aside for a moment. Here's Thomas Morstead now. And surprisingly, this is the first punt of the game for either team. That'll be a 43-yard punt, just a single yard on the return. And the Panthers will have a 1st and 10 from deep in their own territory. Carolina getting set to take the field. They're continuing to rock and roll, and at intermission, maybe sometimes you fear after such a good first half of a letdown, but that wasn't the case.
And what I remember most about being in those situations is exactly what you're talking about. You almost have that sense of satisfaction. You're like, we're doing really well. I remember one time someone saying, winning's fun, but so is playing really well. Why would we want to do otherwise? That was the message, to keep the intensity up, to keep things going, and that's exactly what we're seeing here from this team.
Yeah, it's helped them extend their lead. Now here's a throw right side, taken in by his tight end. The catch and run pays off for 29 yards.
This is just more of the same. This defense has had no answer on a lot of these throws. They let these receivers run wild, and here's another completion for good yardage.
So 1st and 10, and if they score on this drive, might have to start digging in our second half blowout material. One back in the backfield, he'll get the carry. He's got it to the 43 here.
Not a huge carry there on 1st down, but not all of them will be. But still, all in all, a positive play for the offense. It's all about picking up at least a few to set up what you're going to do here on 2nd down.
From the 43, here's 2nd down and 7. Passing, it's Dalton. And Thomas has it. And that's going to be another 1st down as the tackle made at the Jets' 32-yard line. 12 yards there as they move the chains. And that is going to do it for this 3rd quarter of action. We'll return with more preseason football on EA Sports. And we're back now in Charlotte. A lot of happy faces in the crowd at this point as their guys have a big lead here to start quarter number 4. On 1st down, they'll go to the ground attack. And he's going to take this one down to the 25. Now hold on here, because on that last run, it looks like we have a player who was shaken up. Well, you hate to see this before the regular season even begins. We'll take a break and come back. More preseason action in a moment. From the 25, here's 2nd and 3. And they'll keep leaning on the running game. Back to the ground. And he'll be brought down inside the 20 at the 19. A gain of 5, good enough for the 1st down. No doubt those are the types of carries they're looking for here, Charles. The lead in the 4th quarter. This is when coaches that have a reliable running game, they breathe a little easier on the sideline.
Yeah, they love the idea that they can take the air out of the football at this point of the game. That means they're really counting on that offensive line, counting on the runners, taking care of the football. Because you're going to tell your quarterback, hey, no time to be a hero. We're not going to throw it here. Just eat up that clock. And if you have the ball, they can't score.
Good gain there on 1st down. It keeps them in a running situation probably.
They did everything right on that play, didn't they? They got the leverage up front, good blocking, nice hole for him, ends up picking up nice yardage, stays in bounds to keep the clock rolling. They are in charge of this scenario right now. They want to stay that way.
And not in any rush offensively. A 3-yard pickup on 2nd and 4. Now they'll need to convert here on 3rd and a little more than a yard. So they just need 1 yard here to pick up the 1st down. They'll try and run for this with Hubbard. He is going nowhere as he is enveloped behind the line. Call it no gain that time, and they're going to be left looking up at a 4th and 1.
I apologize in advance, partner, but the beefeaters on the interior of this D-line, you just know they were licking their chops on 3rd and short. And yes, they were rewarded with a tasty dish, stuffing that one short of a 1st down.
Well, we got beef eaters licking their chops and tasty dish in one fell swoop.
I did apologize in advance, didn't I?
Well, you did. That line's not eating tofu, I'll tell you that much for free. So the decision to go for it turns out to be a good one. They get a couple of yards, and as a result, the drive keeps moving. It's now 1st and goal. They'll run here with Hubbard. And he'll work his way closer to the goal line as he's got 5 down to the 3. That time, the right guard sending him backwards.
And so many different types of guys rotate in on the defensive line now, depending on situations. You can get the bulky guy, the fast guy. No matter what, though, you can't hold them.
A terrible spot for a holding call as they'll try again, but now from further back on 1st and goal. Dalton sets up play action. He'll get this complete to the running back, Hubbard. And they'll bring him down at the 13-yard line. 3 yards is the gain that time, 2nd and goal.
Well, offensively, that's the mismatch that you want. You want to force a linebacker to try and cover your back out of the backfield, out in some open space. But linebackers nowadays, they run like backs, and they take a lot of pride in covering. What a nice play he made there in the open field.
And he'll be taken down here at about the 11. Only a couple yards there, and that's going to set up a long 3rd and goal.
They're in a pretty good spot right now with a convincing lead. I think this is where they put on the boxing gloves, start to try and pound them into submission.
And the offensive line, they've controlled this game. I don't see why that trend would change now. Dalton on 3rd and goal. He's got it for a Panther touchdown. LaVisca Chenault, an 11-yard touchdown. And the Panthers up the lead to 4 scores now here in this 4th quarter. So still throwing here in the 4th quarter with a pretty sizable lead, and now that lead even more sizable. And if nothing else here, CD, a chance to pile on some stats. And now before we get to the extra point, remember all touchdowns do have to be confirmed by the replay official. They're taking a peek at whether or not those feet were in bounds, and obviously a big call here in the end zone.
And not just the feet. How about the hands? How's the ball possessed while the feet are hopefully getting down in bounds? That's what they're trying to look at to see if it all comes together.
After review of the play, ruling on the field stays.
So they called it a touchdown originally, and this will stay a touchdown after the video review, so they had it right. Piñeiro's extra point up and good. And that'll increase their lead to 28. The Carolina kick team is out there ready to go, and they kick this one away. And we see James. He will not return it, and they'll bring it out to the 25. The New York set to take the field. And certainly this, not the performance that they were hoping for to begin the exhibition season, but still plenty to watch for in this 4th quarter. Wilson leading the Jets up now for a 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line. Now it's Wilson. And that is caught on the right sideline, but out of bounds, says the line judge. The throw took him a little too far, and 2nd down. An incomplete pass leads to 2nd and 10 from the 25. Now Wilson finds Lazard quickly on the slant. It'll go as a gain of 11 and a Jets 1st down. Just 2 minutes remaining here in the 4th quarter of what has been a one-sided affair. So it's Jets football as we get you reset here. So from the 36 now, 1st and 10. Here's Wilson to throw. And his throw's going to be incomplete.
They lead big, and a major part of that has been how they've taken their play to a whole new level this 2nd half. No points allowed since the break, and you can add another incompletion to the total number that they've forced in this runaway contest.
And intercepted. Wilson's 3rd of the game. It's C.J. Henderson picking it up. And the Panthers are going to take over a couple of yards shy of midfield. And that one, Charles, is just going to about wrap up what was no doubt a dominating defensive performance.
Yeah, I don't care what team it is. I don't care who you play, whether they're strong offensively or not. Just giving up 3 points in the NFL, that's absolutely a dominant performance and one that they can build on.
The Carolina offense about ready to go. It has been a dream start to the preseason thus far as they look to finish things strong in the fourth quarter. Good starting position for the Panthers as they come up 1st and 10. Just shy of midfield at the 48. They'll start on the ground with Hubbard. And a pretty athletic run right there as he's going to get this down inside the 40. Solid way to start the drive. 13 yards, picking up the first. Another example of this offense really having their way, Charles, and another big chunk play there on the ground.
And when you look at the defense, they've got to do a much better job of wrapping up when they tackle. A lot of great opportunities continue to slip through their fingers, as do the runners.
Delay of game. Offense.
So a little tardy getting everyone set, and the clock hit 0 before they could snap it.
Yeah, you can take your time and use the clock and try and get set up, but once it gets near 5 seconds, that's when you often hear a quarterback yelling, hurry, hurry, to make sure everybody's ready to get the snap off.
And they take a knee. So this one is over. A victory for Carolina. And, you know, it wasn't a shutout. They did give up the points in the first quarter, but second, third, and fourth quarter, they held them scoreless.
Brandon, if you throw a shutout for quarters 2, 3, and 4, you win a lot of games in this league. And this felt a lot like, almost like if you say baseball, and the pitcher goes through the lineup the first time and the hitters get to see him, and then they come out after that and the bats start blazing, right? I think they saw their best stuff in the first quarter and just shut everything down from that point on. What a great, convincing performance.
So that'll do it for us. For my partner, Charles Davis, and all the hard-working men and women on our crew, I'm Brandon Gaudin. You've been watching the NFL right here on EA Sports. The Panthers are winners here as we say so long from Charlotte.
Okay, so I had not planned on jumping back in here at the end, but I did want to cover a few things real fast. First of all, on the depth chart, you might have noticed during the game that I did end up moving Mingo into one of the starting wide receiver positions. And the reason for this is because it's actually accurate to the team. Jonathan Mingo is the third ranked wide receiver on the team. As I said, I really wanted to get him on the field myself, so I went ahead and did so. Now, there are a few things that were inaccurate for this week, and if this were the regular season, I would actually try to force them to be accurate. First of all, I did have Andy Dalton playing there. He is actually injured, it looks like, in the NFL right now in the real world, so he did not play. Additionally, Miles Sanders is injured and is expected to most likely miss all of the preseason. So I did also learn that he had been with the Philadelphia Eagles and he did quite well over there. So I'm very happy to have him on my team. I think he's a great get for the team. Hopefully he'll be able to come back from this injury, which seems to be a groin injury. But for right now, as I said, it's the preseason, so I'm not as worried. I'm going to go ahead and let both of them play in their standard positions. If it's the regular season, I will try to put out the players who are supposed to be out there. And so I will adjust the lineup as need be based on that. And the way I'll do that is I'll just move them in the depth chart since I can't make injuries happen. On the note of injuries, that's the second thing I want to cover here. If you noticed in the game, one thing that I did find sort of poor about the way the game is overall, hopefully it's in options here. Let's see, maybe league settings. The injury rate on the game seemed incredibly high. Let's see, injury management manual, that's fine. Trade deadline, injury on, practice on, progressive fatigue is on. Doesn't seem like I can make injuries happen less without turning them off. I do want injuries on, but I would like them to be less. It just doesn't look like that's going to be the case. So I guess I'm going to have to deal with injuries happening as much as they did there. Hopefully that's something they will adjust in the game after a couple of days and feedback and such. That's a hot fix that they could easily do. But the injury rate just seems too high right now. Maybe it's somewhere in here. Game options. Coin toss, passing mechanics, gameplay helpers. Nope, not in there. Not in there. Franchise setting, user settings. User teams. No, just doesn't look like I'm able to control that. So I guess, as I said, I do have to put up with that. Now, as you also saw at the end of the video, I had thought about it a little bit, and I decided I do want to go ahead and move the Panthers to Orlando. The reason for this is I am a huge fan of the Panthers. That does not mean I'm a huge fan of Carolina. I have nothing against Carolina, don't get me wrong, but I just don't actually have any attachment myself to it. And since I'm being put in the role of the owner of this team, I need to do what I feel is best for the team. And I really do feel Orlando is an untapped potential for a football team. The fact that they have the amount of visitors year after year for their theme parks and such makes me feel like Orlando is the perfect spot for an NFL team. And from what I've actually been able to read on a few articles online, they actually want an NFL team. They look like they may be the home of the Jacksonville Jaguars for a couple years here, while Jacksonville Stadium is being redone. Now, I think Jacksonville will go back to Jacksonville after that's done, but it is one of those where Orlando really does want to have a team there. And as I said, I just feel like it's a perfect fit for my team. It would make me more money, so I wanted to go ahead and do that. Now, that's an interesting thing on this game, because if you'd seen last season when I was doing it, you did the whole moving thing in steps. You would put in for a relocation, then I think about week 3 or so, you would actually get to choose the city you wanted to relocate to. A few weeks later, then you would choose your team uniforms and such. A few weeks after that, you'd choose your stadium. And so it was sort of a process that went on throughout the season. In this case, I did all of those steps here after the first week's game, and it's already changed my name to Orlando. Now, in a way, I'm sort of upset about that because of the fact that I played the first game in Carolina, but I don't know if they're actually going to move me prior to the end of the season or not. Because if you look on the news page here, and we go down to the bottom one on this list, Charles Davis says today's top story is, of course, the Panthers' decision to leave Charlotte after the season. Devastating blow to the local economy. But he says after the season. So it seems like they may have changed my name to the Orlando Panthers, but I still am playing out of Charlotte for this year. I don't know, though. We're going to have to see as this season goes on. It would sort of be interesting in the third week of the preseason if I'm suddenly playing in my new stadium in Orlando. While I would like that in a way, I will have to say it's a major fault in the game if that happens, because how did I suddenly build this stadium overnight? That doesn't make a lot of sense. Really, I should play in Charlotte for this year as the relocation process happens. I did want to also point out that you now have access to all the different team uniforms and names available instead of only having like 3 choices whichever city you choose to go to. So I do like that. It gives you a lot more flexibility. There are a lot more uniforms overall, and I thought some of them are really beautiful. Quite frankly, the Husky ones there especially, I was attached to. It was a tough decision to stay with the Panthers, but as I said, the Panthers are my team. And I mean, there's history for moving a team and changing the name, and history for keeping the name. So, I mean, we have the fact that the Ravens were formerly the Browns, but when they moved to Baltimore, they became the Ravens. So we had a name change that happened there. At the same time, we've just had the Chargers and the Rams both relocate from St. Louis and from San Diego, respectively, to Los Angeles, and both have kept their names. Las Vegas was Los Angeles or Oakland beforehand, and they have kept the Raider moniker now that they're in Vegas. I feel like, as once again putting myself in the position of the owner of a team, that there is more cash to the fact of keeping the team name. It keeps that history and that lineage. Yes, the city has changed, but the history of the team remains the same. So I definitely wanted to keep the Panthers for that. Besides that fact, I love the uniforms and I love the logo as is. I don't really feel a need to change them. But as I said, this whole Orlando thing, as it shows here on the game day page for the game against the Giants, sort of interesting to me. I really am going to be curious in game. Am I going to be called Orlando? Is it going to still call me the Panthers? Are there going to be sound effects in my stadium for the Panthers, like the cat cry that I have right now? These are things I'm very curious about. And the reason for that is, I want to say it was the Madden 21 game I relocated my team. I wasn't recording it for YouTube at the time, but I did relocate my team. And I felt like the game really was sort of almost broken in that way. It didn't refer to the team well at all. It sort of just said the home team and such, and it was very, very basic and didn't make it feel believable at all. Now, they have chosen the cities that you can relocate to, so I would say they needed to make sure that that works properly. So the team should be called Orlando, but at the same time, all of the names of the teams, including the Panthers, are ones that the announcers can know and stuff. So I definitely would also hope that they would say Panthers at points. That's something I'm going to be paying attention to with this upcoming game here against the Giants, as well as, am I still called the Carolina Panthers for right now if I'm still in Carolina, or has it already made that change to being the Orlando Panthers? Is it going to say something about that move in this next game? These are things I'm very curious about, and we will hopefully see here on Sunday when I produce that video. I do plan on talking about the game with the Giants because I realize that game actually is occurring this Friday. So I will go ahead and break that game down a bit and discuss what happened. I don't think it's going to go nearly as well as my preseason game did there. The Panthers offense seems a lot more run-oriented than I had originally expected it to be. I am going to pass the ball more, as I hope you saw in that first game, but there are a lot of running plays that I do feel comfortable with that my team seems to be pretty good at. So we're going to try to find a nice balance this year and see how that works overall. But I've talked enough. This video has gone on long enough. With all of that being said, I hope you did enjoy what I've done in this episode, and if you did, please go ahead and click that like button. If you've not already, please subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon so that you're aware when I produce new videos in the future. Thank you, and I hope to see you back for more Madden 24. If you enjoyed the video, please go ahead and click that like button. If you've not already, please subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon, so that you're aware when I produce new videos in the future. Thank you, and I hope to see you back for more Madden